I'll wait for y'all to come on and come on and come on and. But in the meanwhile, where's my remote? I got the TV room tonight, y'all. Where is my remote? It's gonna take some time before everybody get to this live. What's going on here? Is honesty the best policy? And the measures that people will go to cover up a lie. The measures that people will go to cover up lies. How y'all doing tonight? It is Blessed Tuesday. Blessed Tuesday, everyone.
This your girl Nina from Unbreakable Strong Woman coming to you today.
Hey, Frankie, you made it. Good to see you here. I'm doing this live in the flesh tonight. I'm going to wait for some more people to try to get on in here so I can start the conversation. So, how are you tonight? Hi, Juicy. How are you, Juicy? Welcome to my channel. Please hit the like button as you come on in or exit out. If it's your first time viewing my channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification so whenever I come on, you will be able to get my notification. I'm not really I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional, I'm an amateur. Good evening, everyone that's coming in. Oh, thank you, Juicy. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. Okay. Have y'all been listening to some of my videos that I did today, some lives that I did today? I didn't really do lives. I really was on just giving my views and my commentary, my comment on some of the things that I had watched today, on some things, some of them I don't even remember. To be honest with you, I don't even remember. I don't know about doing a stand up in the 360. I'm sorry. I'm going to lay back and relax, Juicy. Um, my conversation this morning, of course, I got up in prayer, but I don't really remember what my conversation was about. I know one of them was about the tragedy in a church. I can't, Juicy. No, thank you. Um, the first conversation I had was about a tragedy that took place in a church on Easter Sunday, and I was late on that, you know, reporting that to my channel because Easter Sunday is Easter Sunday for me. You know, that's the day of resurrection. I was in a place with, celebrating Easter. You know what Easter's about. People it's about the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I didn't really get into all of that stuff on YouTube, but then there was all these other stuff things I was getting into, like with things circulating around this Diddy saga. So I didn't that's what I talked about. I talked about why God um I talked about why God warned us against adultery. That was my discussion this morning. And also, I came again with you this today about women attack the mega pastor wife. Those of you who are familiar with Bishop Noel Jones, who's located, I believe, in California, he runs a ministry on televised ministry, and he also runs a ministry out there. And I just wanted to just share with people some of the things that people should be aware of about what kind of places they go for worship. Not trying to tell people not to continue to live in the faith and not to continue to be believers. But the things about being a believer, hey Nain, how are you? Ugh. Frankie, could you take care of that for me, please? I appreciate it. Thank you. So anyway, I'm not trying, my channel, I bring awareness to people. And I also will bring my own comments and my own thoughts and my own opinion here on my channel. Whenever I come across certain videos and people commentary, because of the simple fact that people don't really come to my channel, and I do go to their channels and I do hit the like button. I would leave comments or whatever. And when I feel they don't engage with me, and then they go on their channel and then start using my comments and whatever I do over here, then they start using it on their channel, but they don't come and support my channel. And I just think that's kind of like dishonest. That's kind of like dishonest to me. And I just feel, if we're gonna be in this community of YouTubers, I just think everybody should respect everybody's content and their work, and even give them credit for the work that they do, and don't steal other people's content. Take it to your channel so you can get and the likes and the shares or whatever you getting. Thank you, Frankie. Get this high, whatever, because they being very disrespectful as well. Like I said, if it's only one person in my chat and they respectful to me, I'm good with that. I don't need 1,000 subscribers and people coming here, you know, interrupting my chat and saying stupidness. I want you to either, even if you're gonna comment, let's stay engaged in the conversation. Let's stay on track. Don't come in here with foolishness or you get swiped out. Like I said, I'm not here to swindle anybody or take anything from anybody. I'm here to bring awareness, and I'm also here to also walk you through some things through the Bible and scriptures of things that God is showing us something new each and every day. And some people are walking in spiritual blindness, and I'm just trying to help some people out. So if you for foolishness and everything, if you're gonna put something dumb in my chat, you're just gonna get swiped out. Thank you, Frankie, for taking care of that, because I think that's just totally stupid and disrespectful. And like I said, dishonest people, man, it's just ignorance in this world. This world is full of ignorance. But anyway, like I said, is honesty the best policy? Because the world, people think just being dishonest is the best way to go in life. And I truly don't think so, because whatever you do, everything is being accounted for. God give us time after time after time after time, each and every day, to get right with something we did wrong yesterday. And people got to understand that. People really got to understand that honesty is the best policy. It keeps you out of trouble. No, things are not going to work quickly for you, but living in the faith is the best way to live. Walk by faith and not by sight. You know, be strong, rooted, and ready at all times, because you never know when the enemy is going to attack. I just heard in the news, and I didn't follow up with it, but it was another shooting in the school. You see, it was a shooting in a school. I didn't do much following up on it because I've been busy at, doing my work and taking care of some other things I had to take care of here at home. And I didn't really have time to, to really get into it the way I would have liked to get into it to find out more so I can have this discussion about it. So anyway, like I'm saying, um, like I told you, I had a discussion today about the dishonesty in people today. How people feel that life is promised. And I had this discussion in it before in previous videos about life isn't promised. Life is a gift. And each and every day that God has given us, He's given us time to get what we didn't get right yesterday to try to work on getting it right today. You can run, but you cannot hide from God because eventually He's going to put you in a place where you're going to have to face the music. I talked about that, about, the situation what Diddy is going through right now. At some point, whatever Diddy is doing, because I can't judge Diddy. I cannot judge that man for his crimes, if allegedly, if he committed any of these crimes against these women and against these employees or employees or whatever. I'm not in no place to judge him. For one, I was not there. I wasn't a witness to it. I never hung out with Diddy. I never was at a party or a freak off or anything with Diddy. I was never an associate of Diddy's. I just like met him random. I met him just passing through. Okay. So I'm in no place and I can't listen to hearsay when people are out here dragging his name and saying they just jumping on the bandwagon and just saying these things about Diddy. And I never really was like a person. Now, I saw some videos with Diddy and when he had his artist, the artist was out there like Biggie Smalls. I saw him in videos with Biggie Smalls. He did some collaboration, some work or whatever, business and music with Robert Sylvester Kelly, who is now, we know what happened with him. I don't want to really go talk about it right now, but I'm just saying that these are the things that, people work together. They work in the music industry together. They make a collaborate some music together, and that sort of thing. That doesn't necessarily mean they were tight. That doesn't necessarily mean they knew each other like buddy, and they sat down and went party together. They probably met each other at parties. I'm sure when there was events, Robert Sylvester Kelly showed up for music awards and those type of things. And maybe he came out, Soul Train Music Award, the what other music awards they be having, the Grammys, the Oscars, the whatever. Maybe Robert Sylvester Kelly met Biddy and they're like, yeah, man, you want to do some work with me? I got some work out here that I need to talk to you about. That's the kind of relationship they probably had, but it was never really no real buddy type of shit. And that's what some people don't seem to understand. Automatically, they see somebody in something, just like they attacking Cuba Gooding. They see people together or whatever. Somebody invite them to a function. They talking about business. They making some communication. They making some, contact. What they call it. They used to networking with each other. I would say networking. And then all of a sudden now you part of the freak offs. Just like what they doing to Cuba Gooding. I'm not believing none of that stuff. I'm not. I like Cuba Gooding and his acting skills and movies he played roles in and everything. I think he did a phenomenal job. I'm not the kind of die hard fan for Cuba Gooding, but I think he done some great work in his in the Hollywood in his performance, co-acting, lead actor, whatever. Jerry Maguire, I think he did a phenomenal job. Him and Regina King, they worked well. They did good together. But that doesn't necessarily mean just because they work together in doing a movie that people are really that close to each other. They were co-workers. I got co-workers that I work with on the job, and then when I come home, I shut my door. I don't call them. We don't call. We don't hang out. We don't do none of that stuff. We just work together. All I'm saying, be careful of the way you judge people and you put everybody in the same category, and just see it for what it is: work, business, networking, collaborating. And it just got so, I just had to get away from it for a while. But now I'm talking about dishonesty. Is it the best policy? And the measures people will do to try to cover up a lie. The reason I came to this conclusion is what I read when I did those two videos this morning. The one about the pastor, Noel Jones, the woman attacking his wife. And this pastor is not clean of his wrongdoings, and neither is the wife. See, people come in places to do certain things on the simple fact that it's a spirit. It's a spirit, And like I said this morning, when I did this afternoon, I think I did that one in the afternoon. I did the one about the tragedy at the church on Easter. I did that one early this morning. I came from the book of Proverbs, chapter 5. But this one about the woman that they, speak on, and they say, oh, she's mentally ill, she's delusional, she's crazy. She's saying the reason why she attacked this woman is because of the simple fact that this woman gave her daughter cancer, and the cigarette smoking, and all the things this woman might have, you know, provoked her or antagonized her or caused her to do what she did. And the thing is that before this woman was married to Noel Jones, he don't know. He doesn't really know what kind of woman she was before she came in encounter with him. People do have a past. People have a past. And automatically we want to judge her. We want to call her crazy. We want to call the woman that attacked her crazy. And we want to say that she might have some mental illness. We already making some prejudgment, okay? Without really listening to without really hearing two sides to a truth. This woman had a life before she married you, Noel Jones. This woman had a life before she married Noel Jones, everybody. People wear masks. People change. People act like chameleons. People put on a show. People, you never know really who people are. For real, for real. Before she got to that altar with you, Noel, she was living another kind of lifestyle. And we don't know if that woman that came to attack her knew her from her past. Automatically, we want to call this woman crazy, delusional, mentally ill. We already want to say this woman, and notice that this woman that attacked her did not stay in jail, didn't get arrested. I mean, she did. They did, the security that was there and everything. They did handcuff her, got her out of the church, whatever. And then this woman went right to her car and made a video and told everybody why she attacked Noel Jones' wife, Loretta. Loretta could have had a past before she met this pastor. It ain't like she was a spring chicken when he married her. It ain't like they were just two young people just hooking up with each other and just having puppy love or whatever. They got married and all that other stuff. This woman was older. She wasn't no young girl walking down the aisle with him, and he ain't no spring chicken either. So this woman have a past, and you just don't know. You all starry eyed, and right now trying to make it look good for your for your status and for your business. I mean, the church incorporation, but she has a past. You understand what I'm saying? We all have a past. We all been through. I don't know how old you are out here in the chat, but I know I'm 57 years old. I ain't no spring chicken. And my walk with Christ ain't just start yesterday. I've been on this walk for a very long time, and I saw some things. And I don't put nothing past nobody. And we all got to remember that Noel Jones, before he had married this woman, as old as his behind is, yeah, she don't know what he was doing up in that church with some of them women before he hooked up with her. And they would hush hush not to talk about it to keep the church from having any kind of scandal or bringing any kind of, you know, troubles into the church. And I'm sure he ran a train up in there. And some of these women are really not feeling it right now. That's why I say, how you going to be a pastor? You get married and you get a new wife, and you came in that church and you was in that ministry for quite some time. And you know, the person I'm directing this to basically is this Dawson Speak person. He gets out here and he talks about every ministry that he possibly can do research on and give commentary about these ministries and about exposing some churches and pastors or whatever. But being that Noel Jones is his pastor, oh, he trying to find all kind of ways to make it sound like Noel Jones and this woman, his wife, are saints because he have a relationship with that church and because he's a member of that church. So he feel that, hey, I gotta, protect my church, but everybody else church is a bunch of devils and ain't living right according to the word of God. And not knowing that just about, I don't know if there's any church out there that's perfect. No, there isn't. And I could talk because I had my experience, my Christian experience, and I had some, run-ins with some bad people in the church. I've been through some church hurt, okay, and still keep going. I've been through some stuff with the pastor and with the ministry in the church, with the pastor's so-called ministers and ministries, the women and the men. When these people were coming for my life. Okay? And of course, church ain't nothing but a business. Nothing but a family business. Some are run by a family business and some are run by the government. Funded by the government. Some are independent and some, like when I say independent, they have a license to open up a church and everything and do whatever clergy work or whatever they do to service that community. And then there's some churches that are run and they got they whatever tax break or whatever they get. But then there's some like TD Jakes, churches like Noel Jones, TD Jakes, Creflo Dollar, you name them. It's a business. Even that church out there in Lithonia, Georgia, that now Jamal Bryant is the senior pastor of, is a business. All this stuff that Jamal Bryant is doing and that man ain't behind bars, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Same thing I said to you about Charlemagne the God. Who's running that channel? Who's running that podcast? It don't belong to Charlemagne the God. He's just the face or the person they put out there to get their ratings and to promote that Breakfast Club. He's just that person. But as soon as Charlemagne the God, and I said this last night, as soon as Charlemagne the God, okay, to bring controversial conversations on platform, as soon as Charlemagne the God is ready to just throw in the towel and say, look, I'm done with this. I want to move on and do something else on my own. Guess what? Charlemagne the God is going to have to pay in a humiliating way, in betrayal and everything else they're going to have to do to Charlemagne God before they let him go free. Due to the fact that Charlemagne the God did something so horrible in his past that they backed it up and they cleaned it up for him. Because of the fact that they backed it up for him, they paid for it, they covered it up, they got him out of the trouble he was in. Okay? They got him out of the trouble that he was in, that he was facing. And that's why he do the things he do on that channel. Not that he really likes to do it, but that's right now what's keeping him clean, out of trouble, keeping him safe, out of trouble. Because as soon as Charlemagne the God want to make have a disconnection with Breakfast Club and want to do whatever he want to do on his own and start his own podcast and do whatever he want to do, they are going to come for him. Okay? Because right now, you belong to them. You sold your soul to the devil. I never forget, no, not that I forget. I'm going to tell you about Miss Jane Pittman. This woman lived to be 100 and something years old, and she went through slavery, Jim Crow, all of that in the South. She lived through those experiences, the civil rights movement and everything, which the Jim Crow moved into the civil rights movement. You can watch it. Cicely Tyson played the person in that episode of when Miss Jane Pittman. Now, remember, her first husband, they lynched him, they burned him, they killed him on the simple fact that he stole from the white people because they owed him some money, which they cheated him out of. So he was going to go back and go on his own to get what belongs to him, his portion or whatever, some cottons or whatever. So they came for him. And of course, she had her child with him, her son Jimmy, her baby. And what happened is that they end up killing her husband, burning him to the tree. She had to go through that experience. Through some wicked white KKK. Afterwards and everything, Miss Jane Pittman, she finds love again. She finds another man who she find they supposed to now work as sharecroppers. They're not really sharecroppers, but they on a land, but they have to pay for their freedom. Okay? That's what they did to the slaves. Before it came into, or they was at the war, whatever, the North and the South against the Confederate, the abolitions, and everything. Wanted the slaves to be free, whatever. So Miss Jane Pittman, she meets another man who used to work with the horses and train the horses, and that was his job. He used to train and break them in and train the horses and everything. He was a horse trainer. Now Miss Jane Pittman and this man fall in love and ready to get themselves free and go on with their life. But the white man told them, "Oh, you don't remember? They paid. He gave him what he owed him to buy his way to freedom." But they didn't feel, they didn't want them to be free. He told them, "Oh, you still owe me for such and such and such. Don't you remember? Okay, don't you remember you owe me for such and such and such?" And him and Jane was going to get married, move on with their life. But he had to work to pay off do some more work for this man to get his freedom. So the man tricked him again and told him, "Look, you still owe me, nigga." So what happens is that Miss Jane Pittman, she feels something about the fact that her husband is spirit. She feel in her spirit something is wrong, and it's this one horse that her husband seems to go catch and find to break in and to train. But that horse spirit wanted to be free, and that's one horse that the husband was going to meet his death with. And she tells her husband, she says, "That horse, baby, is evil. That horse is evil." She's telling him the horse is evil. It's a white horse. But she says, "I looked at that horse and I could see that that horse is wicked. That horse is evil." And what Jane does in the middle of the night, when her husband is asleep, she let that horse go. And the husband said, "Why you do that? Why you do that, Jane? Why you let him go? I gotta go after the horse." And she says, "No, baby, please let him go. Let him go. Please." She plead with her husband and everything to let that horse go. That horse is going to be the death of you. That horse is evil. But he goes after that horse. And she crying and she breaking down in tears and she's screaming. But this husband was not trying to hear her. He goes after that horse in the middle of the night. And when that horse finally comes back, guess what that horse is doing? That horse is dragging him. And he's dragged on that horse, dead. And of course, she goes as she breaks down, she cries, she tell her whole story. And she's telling this to her children and for her children's children. And then it moves from Jim Crow into all of that she had actually experienced through her life as a child, through slavery to freedom, and to not to actually freedom, because there's no such thing as freedom. But the thing I'm trying to tell people here that are here willing to listen about what I tell you about these celebrities and these radio show talk hosts, these hosts that host channels and podcasts, and they got views and likes and da 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 da, and they got ratings and da 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 going on. I'm gonna tell you right now, people like me, I speak freely because I run this channel. Even though they probably run the channel too in some sort of kind of way, because they probably won't get me they probably have my channel and everything. Like they don't get I don't get in the algorithms or whatever they call them. But I'm not monetized either. YouTube, this channel is more like me just here just to speak whatever I feel and how I feel about certain things, and freely, and I don't do it for monetary gain. I don't do it to compete with anybody else's channel or anything of that nature. I just don't. I'll bring you my opinion, my comment about how I feel, and I do it in an honest way. And that actually is honesty the best policy. Because some people, they work for YouTube, and they doing this for monetary gain. They doing this because this is how they make their living. This is how they hustle. This is how they making money. This is how they start. They use this as a way to pay their bills. I have a job. I have a career. You see, this I do as on my free time, and sometimes just to have time to just have a conversation with people. Yes, I do. I do shop at, well, I haven't shopped at Walmart in quite some time, but if I ever get a chance, matter of fact, I shop in thrift stores, and you'd be surprised the bargains I get there and the things that I find in the thrift stores. Yes, I do. I got champagne taste, but I got beer money. I got champagne taste, but I got beer money. But anyway, like I said, and it's honesty the best policy. Like people will tell you all kind of lies and deceive you and do all kind of things just for views, clicks, and likes, and they be capping and they think they winning. But the truth is that they dishonest in one way or the other. The same people that they feel like them and giving them all those likes and views and this, that. And as soon as they got to be honest about certain things and they want to speak the truth about something, guess what? Guess what happened? They be called a hypocrite. You ain't nothing but a hypocrite. You ain't nothing but a liar. I'm gonna unsubscribe. I'm out of here. Da 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 da. Trust it, believe it or not, I've been through so many. Remember when certain channels were blowing up? For instance, remember Choke No Joke? His channel was on fire when it was the R. Kelly stuff going on. Remember? Choke No Joke said he had letters from R. Kelly, and he gave R. Kelly such and such amount of money on his books. He even showed up at one of the events, one of the protests or whatever. They had a little something going on during Halloween or October. Him and some other people from that lived in the Atlanta area in Fulton County. They showed up. They did a little something for Kelly out there, whatever, just to make himself get himself out there, to market himself, right? To market his channel. And then of course a lot of R. Kelly supporters, they got him fascinated with it. They was impressed by it, and they went on his channel and they was listening to those fake ass letters, which I know R. Kelly at that time did not write those letters, and I already felt R. Kelly didn't do that. I said, R. Kelly, I said, people go ahead and follow if they want to follow. But I doubt very much if R. Kelly was giving any information out about what at that time he was experiencing to anybody, because right then and there R. Kelly shut down. R. Kelly wouldn't even want to talk to his attorneys. Okay, he didn't even want to open up to his attorneys when his attorneys wanted to talk to R. Kelly. R. Kelly wouldn't even come out of the shower. R. Kelly wouldn't even come out of his room. R. Kelly he just shut down from the world. And how I know that? Because someone who was representing him at the time, they wanted something out of R. Kelly so bad, they tried to beat him up in prison, intimidate him, terrorize him, and everything while he was there. R. Kelly would not even come out to talk to his attorney. Steve Greenberg was trying to make communication with R. Kelly, and R. Kelly would not even come out. He said, I had to talk to him through a shower, and he wouldn't even talk to me. And if you think I'm lying about this, you go to Court TV where Steve Greenberg sits there as a co-host or whatever, as an attorney. And if you wanted to go back and review all the stuff he's discussed when he was on that platform, when all of this stuff was going on about R. Kelly, R. Kelly wasn't talking to nobody, not even his family. He shut down. He was going through he was in a very dark place in his life. He wasn't talking, he wasn't trying to talk to nobody. Okay? Nobody. He didn't trust anybody. And that happens. So anybody that come and tell you that devil lie that R. Kelly gave them letters and told them about their relationship, somebody made up these letters and wrote these letters and put these on platforms to make it seem that that was R. Kelly talking about his experience of what he went through during that dark moment when he was under attack and they was terrorizing him. I followed this thing for 5 years. And people were running to this man's channel like he was really, really knowing what was really going on. Just like he trying to get into Diddy's life and trying to find out what's going on with Diddy and what really took place and everything, so he can make his commentary and to hustle his platform or whatever, and blow up his platform and get the rhythm in and get a paycheck from YouTube or whatever. These people out here thirsty, they desperate. And I have at YouTube, I just come on here just to have conversations about things. And I guess I was an R. Kelly supporter and still am in support of R. Kelly. But the thing is that I just know how people are dishonest, deceitful, and they will do whatever they can with a lie, and they will try to do as much as they can to cover up a lie, the truth with the lies. And they're not honest about who they are. And I know I talked about that pastor and his wife. She has a past, and so do he. Before they hooked up with each other, they wasn't no spring chicken. So we can't go over and say somebody crazy for attacking that woman. Of course, Lewis, it is a weird world. It's an evil, but you know what? You gotta live in your world with the truth. You gotta live in your truth. Not what everybody else is doing, but God is putting you down for what you're doing. And eventually he's going to get the truth out of you. Your truth will be your lies will be exposed. Just like this Ronnie Bo guy going around on platforms that R. Kelly talked to him and R. Kelly revealed to him about stuff about Jay-Z. R. Kelly ain't talking about them people in that music industry because R. Kelly's looking for his freedom. And when he get out of his freedom, he ain't looking for to have no beef with these people. And when he get free, he want to stay free. And he ain't trying to be out here snitching and saying this and saying that about nobody because he don't know. Even if some of them might even end up in there with him. So he ain't trying to do that. And he ain't trying for nobody to come at Jay-Z. You don't know who Jay-Z might know in the prison or wherever where he's at and could set R. Kelly up and get R. Kelly hurt, harmed. So I doubt very much if R. Kelly that dumb that he gonna sit up there and talk to a stranger he don't know, a fan or somebody that's looking to cap, looking for clout, looking for money in the prison and say things about the people from the industry when R. Kelly trying to get out of there. And one thing you ain't gonna try to do when you really trying to get out of there, while you're there, you don't know who's from who, is snitch. And he knows that. And that's why he's there, because he wasn't snitching. I want you to figure it out for yourself and use your common sense. Don't believe everything you hear on these people platforms when you hear things about these celebrities. When you hear things about Jay-Z, when you hear things about Diddy, when you hear things about R. Kelly, use your common sense and don't be fooled by these people. And especially people who claim they worked with them and look where they at. They broke and busted and disgusted. They desperate and they thirsty and they want to they trying to capitalize on selling you these stories. I listen. Good evening, BBC man. How are you? Did you hit that like button? I see 9 people, 8 people now in the chat. Could you hit that like button, please? I give y'all some real good. I give y'all nothing but great conversation over here, and I know I do. Why y'all go run into these fake ass people? You're gonna get tired of them. You're gonna get tired of them. They liars. They fake. They liars. Now there's some that I could say they neutral channels, and they really like they don't really know the truth, so they try to play really fair, you know. And then there's some that's really blowing up with lies. There are some, like I said, who are out here, who's doing good commentary, who running a fair platform. They talking on things that they do know, and the things they don't know, they not sure about. They just don't really get that deep with it. You know, they don't really say much about it. People stopping their planes. I don't know about all of that. Yeah, but you know what? This is the world we live in. And like I tell you, everybody, I try to stay prayed up. You never know when the enemy's going to attack. You never when you're going to come to your moment of weakness. And you don't want to do no harm and no hurt to nobody. And people forget about this prayer of Jabez when he says, enlarge my spiritual territory. Enlarge my territory. Meaning, give me more increase, Lord, of wisdom. And help me see the things that I cannot see. Enlarge my spiritual territory. People don't even use those serenities anymore. I mean, that is a verse in the Bible, and I believe it's in the book of Genesis. The prayer of Jabez is a very small prayer, but it meant so much. And then you hear the footprints of the sand. That's a serenity. Like when people are going through something in their life and they just shut down. They don't realize Jesus is walking with them because then they said when they was walking, they only seen one footprint, but they didn't realize that the Lord just carried them through. That's a serenity. Sometimes you got to walk alone and allow God to carry you through. You don't need a whole bunch of friends. You don't need everybody to like you because everybody ain't going to like you. So, moving on to that, let me get back into this conversation about this pastor and this organist and this triangle, this love triangle, this resurrection, what happened on this Easter Sunday that passed in 2024 in South Dallas, Texas. When this pastor and his wife were going through a marital separation in their marriage, and they still all remained at the same church, the husband, the wife, and the wife's lover, which was the senior pastor's so-called adopted nephew, which he adopted as his son. He adopted his nephew as his son. And the son was the organist, and this is who the wife was supposedly having an affair with. So the husband, who was the youth pastor, was tired of them doing this in front of him. So he did approach the organist, and these was a couple of days before Easter Sunday. They got into an altercation, and from what I understand, the pastor, the husband of this woman, who was the pastor, the youth pastor, beat the organist guy up pretty badly. So when Resurrection Sunday came, and you know this, of course, the pastor did do his last 7 words for that Good Friday. He did the last 7. Yeah, the pastor and the wifey Lewis. So that Good Friday, he said he preached such a powerful message on that Good Friday, which was his last sermon that he actually gave, the last 7 words. And I know they do the last 7 words on Good Friday in a lot of the black churches. Some do the last 7 words, and some do some other kind of services for Black Friday. And this is where Jesus was supposed to have went to the cross to die. Anyway, anyway, y'all. So that Sunday, they said, the church was praised up. It was a holy day, and people were really feeling the resurrection and praising God and doing the holy dance and all that other good stuff. The fake holy dance, I call it. Some of them do the fake holy dance. So, so afterwards and everything, after church and everything, the organist, of course, he was supposed to have been wearing like a pink suit, but he went and he changed into a white suit. I'm only following the information that was given and the people that reported what happened from the inside story. And what he did is he changed into like a white suit. So while he was changed, after he changed into his white suit, he went over and approached the pastor's wife, and him and the pastor's wife were taking photos and all that stuff together. And so the pastor's wife said, I'm sorry, the pastor says to him, and both of them, we're not going to do this here. And they said, what's his name? Made us said, yeah, we're going to do this here, in a very sarcastic way. So the pastor, of course, him and the wife, they had a family together. They had young, small children. So of course he didn't want to make a scene in front of his kids and in front of the whole congregation. So he goes to his car to put his children in the car. When he goes into the car to put his children into the car and everything to get his children safely into the car, the organist guy follows him out. He turned around, he punched him in the face, and then it was on again. And this time the organist, oh, you see me at Nina's video, Kinger? How you doing? Yes. I be over there by Nina's. Yep. I do be over there. How you doing? I'm glad you're doing good. So how you like it over here so far? Not that I'm trying to take Nina's people now. Just laying in your new sheets. I know that's right. But I'm gonna have to hurry up with this one. So the pastor's wife. The pastor, I call him the pastor, but he was the youth pastor, the young minister, and the organist. They get into an altercation again. But this time, this dude pulls out a gun, the organist, and he shoots the pastor. The pastor tries to get away from him and runs away from him, but instead, he keeps shooting at him until this man is actually dead. Right? So, of course, witnesses were out there. Of course, the people from the community heard the gunshots and they was like, wow, it's coming from that church. And of course, some people have witnessed it. Some of the people from the congregation has witnessed it. The church went on this thing telling the members in the church not to post this tragedy on social media. And even though they told people not to post it, somebody did come and post it to tell what happened. That's how I got the information that I got because somebody posted it. Okay, and gave the details on what happened. And the only reason why I say this senior pastor telling people not to post it on the senior, because first of all, he could have avoided all of this. He could have prevented this. He could have used God's godly mediation. He could have spoke to his nephew, his son, about his behavior and his conduct in the church. He also could have spoke with the pastor, and not only just that, he could have had them leave the church before it escalated to come to this point. Please hit the like button. Those of you who are in the chat, could you please hit the like button? He could have avoided all of this. He knew what was going on. It's been going on for quite some time. From what I understand, the marriage was still a marriage because they were just only going through a divorce. The wife and the husband filed the divorce in May of 2023. The divorce was not filed until, listen to what I'm saying, May of 2023. And when it comes to a divorce, I'm an expert on knowing about divorces, okay? A divorce does not mean just because you file a divorce that you are divorced. You are still married. Sometimes a divorce can take up to at least sometimes even 5 years before a divorce can actually be finalized. It could take very long, depending on a lot of things they got to look into, case by case. A divorce, just because you file a divorce, don't mean you are divorced. Filing and separation from your marriage and filing is a totally different thing from a final divorce that the judge has granted a divorce. People don't understand that. These people filed a divorce in May, and this woman was running around in this affair with this man, and they was, and from what one of the people that witnessed everything said, they were always putting it up in front of him. Always. And I didn't understand why that woman, if it was because of a woman, if it was because you know what? That man who was the organist that did the killing and the shooting didn't look too kosher. He looked a little bit on the, wearing a pink suit. And if you see photos of him, I don't know if this whole thing was about a woman or it could have been about something else. I don't know. I don't want to put nothing out there, but something about him didn't look like he was masculine. Let's put it that way. And the things him and this woman, and they putting this woman in the middle of it and trying to say she's the cause of it when it probably wasn't so. Maybe he was doing stuff, putting things into the wife's head, and the husband wasn't didn't want this to keep going on. Well, from what I understand, he was doing some things, but they filed for divorce. She was a very attractive young lady. They had children together in a heavy whole nine. Now the kids are without a father, and the church is going to have to really. It says, yeah, nothing surprises me in these churches today. These churches, man, let me tell you something. Hell is busting wide open. That's all I got to say. Hell is just like busting wide open because people are not living in their truth. Really, they not. And I just, like I said, it's the senior pastor who should be held more responsible for the souls in that church. All the people that was traumatized, and even for those children to even lose their father, even for that mother to lose her son, and even for that man to be dead. On the simple fact that if he knew this kind of triangle of love affair was going on with his so-called son, that young minister in his church, and that woman, somebody needed to be removed out of that church. Somebody needed to be told that they should not be able to come and attend there. due to the fact that until all of this stuff was resolved and all of this stuff was finalized and everything was, taken care of, you don't play with emotions. And the thing of the husband struggling through his marriage and what he was going through, he shouldn't even been ministering at the church due to those things of getting a divorce. He shouldn't even still been being able to be in the ministry. He should have been put on some type of restoration to be restored. He should not have been able to get up in a pulpit and have any kind of ministry, do ministry or anything at that time while he's going through something like that. And that's why they didn't want people to talk about it on social media. Because some of us know about these things, and there's a lot of people out there that just will go right to hell because they so got to be faithful to these pastors, and they got to continue to go to these churches because they got some kind of history there of a family member or grandmother or somebody that was a member at the church, and this is going to cover up their sins for them and going to do whatever to do wickedly for them. So they don't want the scandal to get out. They don't want it to get out because that's why. Exactly, church more interesting than meets the eye. And the truth is that Jesus don't ran through there. The resurrection, hell don't bust wide open because there's a lot of stuff going on that they trying to cover up, and it just came out. One thing, I think these two was having some kind of fight in this thing because the wife probably found out that her husband was on the down low. They wanted to get the secret out. And so this one in here, because he told the wife about probably he had an affair with the wife, he tried to make it sound like he was telling his wife things and he didn't want his secret to get out. And that's why they were fighting, and that's why this stuff went down the way it went down. The truth gonna come out, and that's why the mother of the victim is sitting up there talking about, oh, I'm gonna pray for that child because he killed them. And I think it's a little bit too soon. I don't want to pray for nobody right now. If he cut my child down, God will understand that. I mean, God would understand my human heart there now. Come on now. I'm going to pray for somebody that came in the church with a pistol gun to intentionally kill my child. One thing is when you know, and one thing is when you don't know. This man knew what his intentions were to do. He wanted him dead. Even when my child tried to run and get out to safety, he still came for him and gunned them down. Yes, Jesus forgives, but some things God just said, there's some things. Okay? When you read your Bible, you're gonna have to find that out on your own. That ain't no forgiveness for. Okay? So this mother is saying that we, the church family, that mother, for your healing, for the murder of your child, you need to find another place for healing. You need to get out of that church and go to another church so you can be restored. Because there's no way I would stay in a church like that. And for members that see something like that happen from the leadership of the church, to allow something like that to get that far out of control, I would be looking for another church to worship. Because that was straight up wicked. And for those children, them children are traumatized. That you was just with your father on Easter Sunday and y'all was going taking pictures and going out for your little family day or whatever after service on Easter, and your father getting gunned down in the street. I'm going to pray, all right. I'm praying. I'm praying for that mother that lost her child, that got killed, and I'm also praying for them babies. But there's a special place in hell for that pastor, for the souls that he misled, and the souls that he's the cause of. Going to that point was his nephew, and them young children lost their father, and the way things happened so tragically. And then for the souls that was out there in the world that saw this, those people that were watching that aren't in the church saw something like this come out of the church. He's even responsible for those souls as well. People just don't know what they do. But with that being said, your girl Casey McDaniel, I gotta get myself in my bed, get ready for bed. Got a long day tomorrow. So you all be blessed, be safe, and yes, honesty is the best policy. Because later, some way on, you're gonna meet your maker. But you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Don't go through the measures of covering up a lie. Be honest. It will save you in the long run. Trust God on that. With that being said, peace.